Welcome to Beyond Measure. We're working with digi stamps from tiffanydoodles.com. We're going to add color to them with our Prismacolor watercolor pencils. You'll need 3 different shades in the same color family to color and highlight the main body of the lipstick. Going around the edges and some of the darker lines, I'm using black. Then next, I will color lightly with French gray. Being careful not to press too hard and get too much concentrated color, because once you touch it with water, the color really intensifies. Crimson red is the color of choice for the actual lip color. Using a bit of white, I'm creating a bit of a highlight. Next up is my Sukaineko water/ink blending tool. They're referred to as the Fantastics. They make a couple of different tips, but I prefer the brush tip. You've got to make sure that you don't get too much water on your image. It can turn into mud, or it can get all fuzzy because the paper starts peeling up. This lipstick image from tiffanydoodles.com is so uber fun to color. The details are so fantastic that they're just perfect for using your Fantastics. Now that was a knee slapper if I ever heard one. Fussy cutting the image is not a hard task at all with the Tonic Scissors by Tim Holtz. They're very sharp and controllable and enable you to get into the tiniest of details. When cutting, you'll want to be careful not to cut the black outline off. I noticed a couple of little teeny white specks that need to be filled in with my Sukaineko water blending pen. Say that one 10 times fast. Woot woot, hallelujah! The Xyron 5-inch Creator Sticker Machine is up next. Love it! When I need to make sure that something sticks from edge to edge, it's the Xyron for me every time. I'm using different layers of just plain white cardstock. You could use any color if you'd like. It was just a scrap I had. And I'm layering them together, placing the lipstick on top, cutting around it, and then you'll see what comes next. It'll give us a 3D effect. Using the brayer, I add more pressure on our layers to give it more security. We need the That's Easy button from Staples, huh? While I'm adhering all of these layers together, I've been preheating my bejeweler. You'll want to do your best to get the details to all match up so you have a really nice 3D effect. Using my Bic Market in black, I am coloring the edges of the different layers of cardstock. If you're careful, you'll have a great effect from this. If you're not careful and it gets a little out of hand, well, guess what? It could mark all over your lipstick and you'd have to go right back to the beginning. Woohoo! I'm so excited! We get to apply the Swarovski Hot Fix crystals to the little band that goes across our image. Next up is the Whitewash collection from Coordinations. It is pink. Love, love, love Coordinations paper. Using Make the Cut software on my computer to manipulate a card shape in which I need, I'm cutting it with my Cricut. Now keep in mind, you can no longer purchase Make the Cut with an ability to communicate with the Cricut, but you can purchase another die cutting machine to go with the Make the Cut, and it will work like a dream. This is the ultimate crafter's companion used for all your crafty card making needs. We get to use the Cuttlebug for dry embossing our card today. We're using Tim Holtz by Sisik's Regal Flourishes embossing folder. Due to the larger size of the card, you can only emboss one side at a time. Tim Holtz Texture Fade embossing folders are really, really uber great. Very deep embossed images. Step right up, folks. You'll see it before your eyes. The pink will come through the white. This is the beauty of using Coordinations cardstock. It's advisable to use Tim Holtz Distress inks in worn lipstick to highlight and ink the edges of our card. This gives it a professional finish. Placing dots 1 inch apart and 3/8 of an inch in will give us a great guide for punching holes with our Big Bite. The Big Bite is by We Are Memory Keepers. You'll want to be a little careful when doing this because it is somewhat close to the edge and our cardstock is not reinforced as of yet. So a little TLC will do the card good. Well, holy moly! Whether you have a great ribbon selection or not, it's advisable to grab you some Hug Snug seam binding. In natural color, you mist it with water, then place it over your ink color of choice for a nice distressed finish. You can add even color or distressed finishes to this type of ribbon. You can crinkle it or you can leave it smooth. It's so great because you get a custom dyed ribbon for your project. I'm wrapping tape around the end of the ribbon so that I can lace it like I'm sewing in and out, up and over, in and out, up and over, around the oval of the card. You'll want to be sure to somewhat anchor the ribbon as it's coming through the hole because it could tear your paper. Once you get all the way around, you'll need to adhere the ends of the ribbon on the inside of the card. I used some older glue squares. I don't know who they're made by, but they're like glue dots but much thinner. Using the Apollo Quick Dry Inkjet Transparency Film, I printed the sentiment True Beauty Comes From Within from Tiffany Doodle's lipstick digi image to become our focal point in the oval window. Because I know that glossy accents will glue anything, that's why I used glossy accents to glue the transparency to our card. And I used the wonderful 3D glue dots to put on the back of my lipstick image. Make the Cut software is here to save the day! Next up is the Ultimate Crafter's Companion. Depending on the size of bow that you would like for your project will dictate where you place the pegs. Wrapping the Hug Snug seam binding around twice and tying in the middle will give you a very lovely bow. Now it's time to get dirt under those fingernails. It's time for weeding. No dirt here. To weed, use your pick on the edge of the vinyl or on the cut edge to get it going. Placing transfer tape over our repositionable vinyl image will enable you to get close to perfect results. White Opal Liquid Pearls by Ranger, such a fab company. Anyhow, I'm using the stencil brush to add a halo effect inside of our card. Now for the reveal. You know, true beauty does come from within. Oh shucks, I don't know if you've already figured it out by now, but I didn't tell you that you needed to also cut a duplicate card shape out of white cardstock. When adhering the two together, you'll need to use some glossy accents behind the transparency so it'll make sure to stick beautifully. And then you can use your ATG gun by Scotch to adhere the rest for a very smooth adhesion. I used the glue dots for the lipstick and the bow. Our project is complete. True beauty comes from within. Be blessed beyond measure.